For more on this, we're joined by Farah Mourad in Dubai. She's a senior market analyst at the IG Group. Welcome back, Farah. Now, markets seem to be hit from every direction. What's the biggest driver of today's sell-off? Is that AI concerns, tariffs, or the ongoing Middle East tensions?
Morning, Taiba. Thank you for having me. Obviously, it's the three of them, but it's definitely the AI earnings angle that's the clearest trigger. We need to know that sentiment was stretched. In case we want to check S&P long-term earnings forecast, they were at all-time high. Even debt margin, meaning how much money is being borrowed to buy stocks, has been increasing for 40% for the last 12 months. That means, sentiment was high. So, and markets may be pricing perfection. When earnings come and this perfection is not reflected, then investors need to de-risk fast. And we're talking about leverage position, and there's no cushion. So I think the markets has been hit from all angles. Obviously, geopolitical tension rising again, and the tariffs are another layer. But the AI story is the major one. And this is why maybe we've seen some move towards defensive stocks. So I think investors are repricing the euphoria that's been taking over the markets for the last couple of weeks.
Right, and as we mentioned, President Trump's latest tariffs have now taken effect. Do investors see these as short-term shocks or the start of another prolonged trade conflict?
I think it can be both. Now we're talking about this maybe new act that might even affect 99% of US imports, but we need to also check history with President Trump. It always starts, the kind of negotiations always starts on a high note. And then we have that slogan of TACO, Trump backing from his previous or his first maybe reaction or action. So I think at the moment, whether it's the geopolitical tension or the tariffs, they are taking the backseat. They are still a risk in the background, but markets consider that the new normal. We've seen that while the geopolitical tension was rising in the month before, even when we had this long drama of tariffs, we've also seen markets recovering. So it's really hard for the markets to focus on this when there's a lot of more important stories happening, such as AI. It is a secondary risk, but we are navigating a market where geopolitical tension, tariffs as well, has been impacting, and they are considered a new normal.
And going back to big tech, has this earnings season exposed a shift in how investors view AI spending? Are markets starting to demand profits?
Definitely. I mean, Tesla, for example, the revenue is growing 25%, but then the margin and the cash flow, even in the negative. And maybe we discussed this before when we had this huge momentum in US stocks, especially AI-related stories and trades, that there is a difference even inside the AI theme when we're looking at hardware versus software, the semiconductors as well, whoever's creating the infrastructure and whoever is just landing it. Apple, for example, is winning because of that, the consumer face story as well. So I don't think we are abandoning the AI theme, but it is time to differentiate. It's not, all stocks with exposure to AI have the same fundamental support.
Right, and the Magnificent Seven have led markets for years. Is this just a healthy reset, or could we be starting to see market leadership be broadened beyond big tech?
It can be broadened, but then again, still we see the big names trying to build a stronger future. Even if NVIDIA went a little bit lower in capital, but then Apple also claimed the top company when it comes to market capital. So I think the big names are still important. Maybe Tesla is a little bit under test at the moment. We might see some names joining, some names leaving, but I think the Magnificent Seven are still a very important part of a lot of portfolios. maybe the leaders in that sector can switch, maybe new names can be added when it comes to semiconductors, for example, but they are still a very strong indicator on the whole US market health, I would say.
Farah, great to have your analysis. Farah Mourad in Dubai. Thank you very much as always.
Thank you for having me.